Hello, today I'm going to talk to you about 5 things that I still miss after 7 years from the United States. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. If you are not, welcome back. My name is Patricia Brooks. I am an American living in the south of France since 2018, and I help people who are ready to start the next chapters of their lives, living and thriving in a foreign country, find the confidence and courage to help them to create a plan so that they can finally start living in their dream country. And on this channel, I talk about my life in France, moving abroad, and how to find the grit and determination to do the things that matter most to you. And today I'm going to have a little bit of a fun video talking about cultural differences and some of the things that I miss from the United States. All right? Now I'm going to talk about this in terms of categories. And the first category is home comforts. On a recent live stream, I was asked, what do I miss most about the United States? And the answer has to do with being able to regulate the temperature in my apartment. But not only that, the humidity level and having kind of sort of like a natural air filtration system. In the United States, we have these things called HVAC units and central heating and air. That has not been my experience here in France, and it's challenging. Another home comfort that I miss is not having a dryer. I have a washer to wash my clothes, but I don't have a dryer, and I have a rack that I can put up on my balcony, or I can put up in my spare room and have the dehumidifier help it to dry, but I can't just say, oh, I need some clothes for this evening. Let me just throw a load in the washer and then in the dryer, and I'll be okay for what I need for this evening. That's not how it works here. And so home comforts. And the second category has to do with kitchen products. Now, I miss a few products in this area. Dawn dishwashing liquid. I miss that. We have dishwashing liquid here, but it's not as robust. I find myself using a lot to get the suds. It doesn't have necessarily the best degreasing capacity as Dawn, so I miss Dawn. Aluminum foil, we have aluminum foil here, but it tends to be much thinner than the aluminum foil in the United States. And I have noticed over the years that I use much, much less aluminum foil than I did in the States. Instead, if I am baking, I will often use the parchment paper instead of aluminum foil. And to cover things, I will use saran wrap or the plastic wrap. Another kitchen product that I miss here in France is that the packages of food are typically not very easy to open. You might need a scissor to open them. If you have a package of lunch meat, there's a little tab on the corner that you can open. So it doesn't necessarily pull off in one piece. And so that makes closing it back up or having it lie flat on the refrigerator ledge more challenging. You have to put the saran wrap around it. And that leads me to the other piece of this, that there aren't really that many reclosable packages. In the United States, lots of food products come in resealable or Ziploc types of packaging, and I miss that about the United States. And finally, though I miss this much, much less, is the variety of sizes of Ziploc bags. Here we do have Ziploc bags, but I think they come in like the gallon size and then like the sandwich size. You don't necessarily have those little snack baggy sizes. And I got used to using those when I was following the Weight Watcher program, when I was making sure that I had snacks with me so that I didn't get too hungry and then I was ravenous for the meal and then threw out, my controlled eating to lose weight. Now I don't necessarily drive a lot of places or am that far away from home that I need to have snacks. And so I don't necessarily need them that much. But in my first couple of years, that was something that I really wanted to have. And when I would go back to the States, I would stock up on those snack size bags. So category 3 has to do with customer service. And this one is kind of specific to one kind of customer service, and that is car service when I need to have my car repaired. Now, when I was in the United States, if I needed something done with my car, I took it to the dealership. If they didn't have the part, they would call up a car parts place that would come and deliver it that day, and they could fix my car that day. If I needed a car appointment, I would call, and the person who answered the phone could schedule an appointment for me. Well, that isn't the case with the dealership that I am working with. I have a Kia. I'm happy with my Kia. But when I need maintenance done on it, or when there's a recall, as there is right now on my car, I have trouble just making the car appointment. I remember probably a year and a half ago now, I had a problem with my steering wheel. And I went and had it looked at. They said, oh yeah, it needs this part. We don't have it. We'll give you a call in a week when that car part comes in. A week went by, no call. I called them. Oh no, we still don't have it. Madame Brooks, we will call you when it's in. So I kind of left it in their hands. A month goes by, 2 months go by, 3 months go by, and I've given up, right? I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to have to either find somebody else to do it, and which I tried, and I didn't have any luck finding a mechanic. And I kind of just put it out of my mind. I don't drive that much, and so I wasn't really that concerned about it. Well, about 3 months later, I get a call. Oh, that car part that we ordered 3 months ago, it's in, and we can schedule your appointment now. I was like, oh, I thought you forgot about me. Well, that was just one example. Last week, I got a registered letter in my mailbox. I got a slip in my mailbox saying I had a registered letter. I'm like, oh, what's going on? You know, you get a registered letter, and that kind of makes you feel concerned, or makes me feel concerned anyway. And so I went to the post office, and that was another thing. I went to the post office and said, oh, are they going to be able to find this letter? Because me and the post office have this thing going on. Well, anyway, they were able to locate this registered letter. They handed it over to me. On the outside of the envelope, it said Kia. And I thought, oh, there's a recall on my car. Because back in February, I got a call from Kia. And I called Kia back. They left a message. I called Kia back and said, oh, I got a call saying to call. You know, what's going on? The person who answered the phone didn't know. They said, oh, but I'll have him call you back. And I said, okay. I'm sure you will. And I kind of, put it out of my mind. Maybe I'd get a call back. Maybe I wouldn't. And I didn't. And I didn't think anything of it. So I get this registered letter saying, oh, there's a recall. I don't even know what's wrong with the car. If the car part was in English, I probably wouldn't know what it did. So I called and said, okay, I've got this letter that you sent to me, registered mail. I need to make an appointment. This was yesterday. The woman who answered the phone says, oh, well, I'll have him call you back and schedule an appointment today. She said, oh, you called in February, didn't you? Here it is, the end of April. I said, oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, and nobody ever called me back. So he said, oh, I said, today? And she said, today, aujourd'hui. I said, okay. So I turned my phone on, the sound of my phone on, so I could hear the phone ring. Of course, there was no call. So I called back this morning. And she's like, oh, you called yesterday, didn't you? I'm like, yeah, and I didn't get a call back. Oh, well, I'm going to talk to the person right now and have him call you back. So I'm going to have to go into Perpignan and make the appointment in person. I think that is the best way for me to do it, because I don't want to be driving around, with something wrong with my car, something that they felt they needed to send a registered letter for. So I think that's going to be my plan of action. But it's not really that convenient, and it's not really good customer service. And I have to tell you, if I am in the market for a new car and I'm still living in the Perpignan area, it's not going to be a Kia, because it feels like a hassle. And my motto in life is not meant to be a struggle. Okay. So I'm going to get off of my little soapbox here. Customer service, especially when it comes to customer service with my particular car dealership. Just because I'm experiencing that doesn't mean other car dealerships have this problem, but it's been a problem for 3 years now, and it's not getting any better. Now, the fourth thing that I miss from the United States is dental cleaning. Now, I have a dentist, and he is good, and I do go in for checkups, but not every 6 months like in the United States, and the checkup is different. They will take x-rays, and they will do what they call a détartrage. And that's scraping the tartar off of my teeth. It's not where they're doing a deep cleaning, polishing, that when you leave your dentist's office, you feel like you have a new mouth because it feels so fresh and clean. That has not been my experience here at the dentist. And I miss that because now, having had these two different experiences, when I go to the dentist, or when I would go to the dentist in the United States, it felt almost like a spa treatment. Whereas here, it's like the basics. And finally, the fifth thing that I miss from the United States is interactions with people at fast food restaurants. Now, I don't go to fast food restaurants often, but in the last, 3 months, I've probably gone 3 times. And when I go in, you don't order your food at the counter. There is a kiosk where you order and you can pay there. And that was surprising to me. You know, I don't eat fast food often, and so this is a new thing for me. But I missed the interaction with the person behind the counter. It's not a big thing, but it was something that was a little bit of a culture shock, even now. This is the same thing with my bank. If I have a deposit to make, I do it at a machine. I don't go up into the bank and there's a teller's desk. That doesn't exist, at least not in my branch. There is a machine where I make my deposit. And so I kind of miss that kind of interaction. It's a quick interaction, but it's a friendly sort of interaction. Now, here in France, there are other interactions with people, with staff, with workers, people who own stores and bakeries and things like that. But in the instance of fast food, in the instance of banks, or my bank at least, that is not the case, and that's something that I miss. All right, those are 5 things that I miss from the United States. Which one of these surprises you the most? Let me know in the comments. Now, if you are planning to move to France and you've got some questions about what it's like to live here, what my experience has been like, what visa I'm on, what are certain areas of France are like. I haven't been everywhere, but I have been to some places, and you'd like to pick my brain, I offer what I call an information session. Now, these are 30-minute sessions that you can schedule, book with me, and I will share my experience of the last 7 years. So bring your questions. You can schedule that, and I'm going to put a link to that in the description. And I look forward to our conversation and sharing as much as I can to help you feel more comfortable with taking this big leap into the unknown. If that sounds interesting, be sure to click the link in the description, and we will talk soon. Now, that is all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, subscribe, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.